is brought to you by Nokia Lumia 1520.
What's your story? Tell it better with the Nokia Lumia 1520.
Good evening, I'm Jeff Koinange, and this is Jeff Koinange Live. Tonight, is there anybody out there who still thinks that the laptop campaign promise was a good idea? One of my guests does tonight, but he's probably in the minority. Here's the latest. The High Court has stopped the retendering of the laptop process, which means further delays, which means those 6-year-olds may not get their laptop at all. That's not the only story. How about the Maasai mass exodus? Are they all moving to TNA? If you ask William Ole Kina, they probably are. One of my guests thinks otherwise. So much ground to cover. It's time to ask those hard questions. It is time for Jeff Koinange Live. And here's welcoming all of you viewers joining us here at the poolside of the Intercontinental Hotel. It's going to be one of those shows. You know, we have to keep asking those questions because when it comes to the laptop deal and 24 billion shillings, that's a lot of money. Money we don't have, especially after the president said we have a bloated civil service and the wage bill is through the roof. Maybe we can cut the fat. Maybe we can start with those laptops. Right next to me, a man who calls himself honorable. He has never held an honorable seat, but he calls himself honorable for some reason or other. We'll ask him why. Honorable Moses Kuria. On the far right, a gentleman who literally walked the length and breadth of the United States to raise money to educate Maasai girls. He's educated more than 25,000. Imagine that. He ran for governor of Narok, didn't win, but he hasn't given up hope. His name, Ledama Ole Kina. And he says, we may not need G4S or Recce Squad tonight. He has brought his rungu to sort out any issues. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
Why do they call you honorable, first of all? You are not honorable.
Well, my Twitter account is at Honorable Moses Kuria. When I was joining Twitter, I tried all Moses Kurias were full. And so just the initials that came to my mind was honorable. And I remember that.
I'm glad you reminded me, okay. Honorable, at Honorable Moses Kuria.
Kuria,
That's
yes.
Twitter handle, at Ledama.
At Ledama.
And at Koinange Jeff. Don't forget the hashtag JKL. Start asking those questions. Okay, honorable, if you insist. This laptop deal, let's face it, man. This thing stinks to high heaven. It was a great campaign promise. But I'll tell you what, right now, my 6-year-old will not be demonstrating all the way to State House to complain about his laptop. He'd rather this country saves 24 billion shillings. And this deal looks like it stinks.
Well, I don't think so, Jeff, because you've got to remember that when Kibaki became president and he came with a free education, primary education, the kids who actually joined class 1 with a free primary education 2 or 3, right now I think they are the ones who've just graduated to join the university. If you go back to them and tell them, you know what, I don't think it was a good idea for Kibaki to bring free primary education, they will not agree with you. They might not have demonstrated then, but what they're enjoying today, that they have had uninterrupted education for 8 years and 4 years, for 12 years, is something that you do for destiny.
I'm going to get back to you on that because that makes absolutely zero sense. But Ledama, let me ask you this. Even if this thing was ever to be implemented, to get electricity to schools out in the rural areas, and the president said this the other day that we're going to electrify this whole country, where's that money going to come from, first of all? And you know, it's a bad idea for now. It doesn't make any economic or fiscal sense.
I computerized over 15 schools in Narok and Kajiado district. And at that point, I thought it was a very good idea. And I set up computer labs which students could be able to use them, but I forgot to be able to pump in money for maintenance. So when we talk about this new laptop program, I can tell you something. The president might have thought it's a good idea, but it's an idea which is far-fetched. And I'll give you the reasons why. I traversed the county of Narok and also this country. There was a time that I wanted to be president of this country. So I went across the whole country of Kenya. And a lot of kids do not have good schools. You know, if you can go to some schools, I'll give you a very good example, practical example, Narok South. I still take it as a good example. Most schools there don't even have classrooms. So before you start telling me that you want to bring in money to buy in laptops so that some people can just make money, the first thing you should tell me is that I want to fix that classroom. Okay? A lot of kids in this school, in this country, don't even have shoes to go to school with. So if a kid who is coming in, like in a place called the Mudwedikir, about 90% of the kids there have no shoes. So instead of like, or even classrooms, instead of fixing the infrastructure, you're thinking of bringing in laptops. You've not even trained the teachers. So it's really a waste of time. And there's nothing wrong, Jeff, for the president to come and the deputy president to come and say, gentlemen, we were wrong. We will provide laptops to schools in Nairobi, to schools in Mombasa, to schools in Kisumu, to urban areas where the infrastructure has been set up. Or even better, we will set up computer labs. What's the point of spending so much millions when schools cannot even afford chalks?
Yeah, Moses, listen to this argument. I mean, even some schools in the country don't even have toilets for these kids to use. They don't have toilets. How are you going to give a kid a laptop and he can't even go and do the necessary?
In fact, I like that question, Jeff. You know what? If a kid has no toilet, one day they will use a toilet. If they are left out of the digital age, they will never catch up. And you might consider yourself fortunate, because I don't know at what age, Jeff, you started using a computer. Most kids in this country start using the computer when they are adults, if they are fortunate. You know, using a toilet is a biological affair. Yeah, it is recoverable. Being left out of the digital age is not recoverable. And that's why the laptop idea is absolutely right. You know, I'm surprised with my brother here saying we give it to Nairobi and Mombasa. In fact, most of the parents in Nairobi and Mombasa can afford to buy computers for their homes, for their children. But what about that kid right there in Kirigoris who cannot afford, and who this guy who claims to be a Maasai leader, want the children in Kirigoris to be left behind because he only wants the laptops for the kids in Buruburu.
I'd rather set up a computer lab for the kids in the rural areas. I would rather set up a library that I can be able to help these kids learn rather than pretend, because this is all pretend, that we're going to leave these kids out of the digital world.
No, you know,
or I'd rather even take...
No, these things, Ledama, are not mutually
I'd rather
exclusive.
even take a 20-foot container and put a few computers in, and then with one teacher, so that when the kids are out from the school, they can come and learn how to use a computer, or they can come and see. Give them shoes, give them clothes, give them food, give them books.
Most of the kids, most of the people who live in this country.
Let's not lie to ourselves, mate.
Ledama,
you know?
Today, who bought you these shoes? Is it the president?
I bought myself these shoes.
Yes, but because these kids will also grow one day to buy their own shoes.
Okay.
Let us give them that something which is going to last them a generation.
Honorable, let me ask you a question. And I know you're very connected. You're always in the corridors of power, so you're very close to these people.
I have no comment on that.
Let's look at this procurement deal from Olive Technologies.
Yes.
It passed through the entire procurement deal all the way to the very end. They got the tender.
Yes.
Maybe, we don't know for sure, maybe they set up some infrastructure to get these laptops to Kenya.
Yeah.
In the meantime, someone went into those numbers and fiddled them and added 1.2 billion. Someone with a lot of authority, with a lot of power. So the procurement board comes back and says, hey man, can this company really deliver? And they stop the whole thing. What are you people telling you in those corridors?
Well, they are your people and his people, so they are all our people, yeah? They're not my people, for starters. But about this issue of the procurement, I've actually taken the pain to go through the documentation available and to ask questions and to do some research. And you know, these issues of public procurement, because of the kind of democracy we have brought to this country, which in my opinion is excessive, we need some little dose of dictatorship in this country. Because even tomorrow we are doing this Garana project where we want to irrigate 1 million acres. And you know what's going to happen? Somebody is going to go and say, you know what, the water they are using is not the water from this river, it's from that river, so stop it. Stop the irrigation. That's fine, it's okay. It's your democratic right, but what happens to food security in this country?
Get back to the topic.
Back to the topic. Now, for example, the issue of excess money that was said to be added.
Yes.
Because I was very disturbed at this fact. And
Yeah.
I actually went to see the Cabinet Secretary for Education to ask him the same question. I told him, I'm very disturbed because this is another government that I worked so hard to put in power. I went to the Principal Secretary, asked him, what is this? I cannot be part of that.
What did the CS say?
No, they gave me facts, and they told me that all the 3 companies were given a chance to, 1, quote for the actual cost of the laptop, and 2, to come up with additional services, i.e. logistics, i.e. the content, i.e. Antivirus, and a whole range of other things. And they told me, look, we were satisfied by the process that came up, and each of them was given a chance to say, this is my core cost for the actual laptops, and this is the additional cost for the services. But somebody in this country, it's very easy to say, this cost has been added, and you get away with it. I don't want to over-comment on this matter, because today it is in court.
Okay,
and,
no, forget
that.
the court. Ledama, let me ask you, does that make sense?
It doesn't at all.
Could add
because
1.2 billion shillings.
let me tell you, Jeff, and this is very upsetting for the Kenyan out there watching this, because the entire procurement system in this country has become an utter sham. And I think what we need to do now is to try to go back to the Constitution and look at what the 6th schedule says, that some counties can now begin, they can write to the national government and say, you are not able to fulfill this function, can we now do it? And I think in this issue of procurement, whenever numbers are so large, unimaginable for most of those people, you find that people find a way to make money. It's all about eating, it's all about making a kill out of a system in the name of kids. That's why I'm saying this whole laptop project should just be set aside. Let's deal with the real issues. I'm begging the president to divert that money into building the infrastructures.
Moses, you agree? Stop, just delay it. Shelve it for now.
Shelve it and shelve the railway.
No.
And shelve the health.
No.
Let's
talk about education for now.
You know what is this, Jeff? It is a ploy to stop the Jubilee government from implementing its program in the ways of stop the railway, stop the laptop, stop the irrigation, stop the damn medicine from, stop the maternity thing because, even if it's free, stop it because it's fraudulent. But it is just another way of, and I do understand where they're coming from. The opposition in this country is decimated.
But
this guy tried to be governed. It's understandable.
Wait a second, Jeff.
But
let me just ask
you don't have to get a
question.
platform
Korea.
of articulating your issues by just condemning everything.
Korea, let me ask you a very simple question. Is there a problem in making a mistake?
No, there's no problem.
If the Jubilee government made a mistake in promising what they could not be able to deliver, why not just be gentlemen or man enough to say, what?
Let's stop this.
We blended.
Let's stop this. I don't even know what to call it.
Honorable.
No,
What is wrong with saying?
Let's get back to what the point is saying. Let me debunk this. It's very important. He is saying that the Jubilee government was not able to meet that cost. That cost is in the budget. The process has gone on. Busybodies try to put all spanners in the works.
So why all these stumbling? Why all these hurdles? Why didn't they just give it to Olive Technologies and let them run with it?
But that's what they did.
No.
That's what they did.
It's been stopped.
No.
Yeah, it's been stopped. Because of what?
This thing stinks.
This is what I'm calling excessive democracy in this country.
Oh, come on.
We need some dose of dictatorship, Jeff.
Dictatorship?
Yes, so that we can move forward.
So that a few people can do what they want?
So that we can move forward and stop all these busybodies from the civil society and from everybody who
Jeff,
say anything.
let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with anyone making a mistake in this country.
There isn't.
The president is a human being.
But
the deputy president is a human being. Okay? The CS of education is a human being. What I'm saying, and I think what most Kenyans are saying, is that we don't want these laptops. We'd rather even have a computer laptop. There's no point of saying every project is a mistake.
You know what is this? All this is 2017 campaign platform.
Let's not talk about
because what are they going to say?
Let's talk about now.
No, you know you're not stupid, Ledama. Then they are going to turn around and say, these guys, they're just a bunch of talkers. They promised the railway, see the railway has not started. And they are the ones who put the banner in the work.
Listen.
They are going to turn around and say, these guys promised the laptop. They couldn't even deliver.
Honorable,
they promised irrigation in the country.
The railway had its issues as well.
Everything in this country that is beyond 50 shillings is about to have issues. As long because Kenyans are fascinated with the numbers. Kenyans are fascinated with the numbers. Oh, 1 billion corruption. Oh, 200 million corruption. But you know.
But where there is smoke, there is fire, my brother.
Absolutely.
No,
Jeff, we have got institutions in this country.
Jeff.
We have got processes in this country.
And that's why this thing is going to court the way it is.
Yeah, let it go, the whole hog, no matter how long it takes. But what I do promise you is that the Jubilee government, yeah, because I work so hard to put it in power, is going to fulfill each and every promise, including the laptops. When
No
they come
matter
to
how
power,
bad it is.
when they come to power, they can implement their
don't keep on
routes and all
saying,
that.
don't keep on pointing and saying when they come to power. Listen, I'm an independent candidate, okay? I was independent and I'm an independent mind. Listen, I'm just saying when it doesn't work, you know, let's put it aside. Let's think through it. There's nothing wrong in you thinking through something.
Absolutely.
You know, Jeff,
let's think
Jeff,
through
now
it.
we are over a year since the election, yeah?
Yep.
20% of our time is gone, yeah? Are you going to give us an extension of 2 years so that we
Okay,
think through
listen,
everything?
gentlemen,
no.
I want to talk
I think
more
you
about
are-
that after the break because this topic, we shouldn't not stop talking about it. Also, the bloated wage bill.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
What
Let's
should
talk
we
about
do?
that.
What should we do?
Let's talk about
Honorable?
that.
Honorable?
Yeah.
Should
Yeah.
we cut the counties down?
Yeah.
Should we
No,
go for that
absolutely
referendum?
not.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
And also
Or we
the
cut
Maasai.
everyone except
we
now.
talk about
Maasai,
the
are they
Maasais.
moving? Are they
Maasais are not moving.
mass exodus?
They're intact.
Before we go to break, let me read Boniface Nyangarese. He says, some people have dwarf minds. That Honorable Kuria can say that laptops are more important than toilets and latrines is myopic.
Well, what do you say to such people?
Keep tweeting. That's all I say. Keep tweeting. At Honorable Moses Kuria, at Ledama, at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag is JKL. This topic is about to blow up. This conversation is critical and it's crucial. And that's why we're having it right here live on JKL. Don't even think of touching that remote control. My guests are literally just warming up. And we are back in a moment. And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the poolside of the Intercontinental Hotel. Someone just tweeted that we should throw Moses Kuria into the pool because he's making little sense. And there's another tweet I'll read in a moment. But first, Ali Toure is saying, our case is that of misplaced priorities.
Absolutely.
Laptop is a noble idea, but not now. The ideal does not connect with the reality. Great point by Ali Toure there. You know, it's obvious, man.
Jeff, you know the guy, you know Henry Ford? Yeah?
Yes. Can I read one more tweet? Mepukori. If Kenya was anywhere near a middle-income country, then the laptop project would have been a great idea.
Okay. Jeff, I'm talking to you about Henry Ford. You know the guy who invented the car?
Yes.
And later he was asked, how did you invent the car? Why did you consult the people? And he said, you know, if I consulted the people, they would have asked for faster horses.
I'm sorry, and your point is?
And my point
Maybe
is
Moses
that one
Kuria
point...
should invent a laptop.
A laptop.
No,
Yeah.
my point is that one time, people are going to look back and say, was that Jeff Koinange fighting the laptop idea? At that age, when we have got so many kids into the digital age, when we are competing, you know, favorably with the other countries, and they say, look, there were some people with foresight. They had seen this far. They had some vision. Some people tried to stop them back by saying that how we should go for priorities, for classrooms, for toilets, and for the other things.
Yes.
And they will say, we are grand as a generation. They will say that we are grand as a generation. And there's some people who didn't listen to Jeff Koinange and Ledama and the other naysayers, and they stuck to the cause. And look at what we have now. We are going to be, by that time, on the same level as South Korea.
And there are people who are going to say, oh, listen to Moses Kuria.
Yep.
And they had no electricity, no toilets, no basics, and they didn't go to school, and they didn't learn.
Jeff,
but
let
they
me
were
tell
offered
you
laptops.
something else that Moses Kuria is not thinking about. In this country, and this is something that I'm talking out of experience, I brought over 300 computers from the US to this country.
Yourself.
Yes, myself, and I computerized a lot of schools in Narok and Kajiado. I never thought about recycling, about wasting. Today, Jeff, I can tell you in one of my go down, I have about 100 computers which I got back from those schools because I couldn't destroy them.
And
so
what, did they run down? They couldn't be maintained?
they ran them all down. I mean, they used them for like 6-7 years.
You see, you haven't thought, have you
really
thought
need
this
to think
through?
about all that.
The maintenance, the dust, the rain.
Recycling, the
Power
environmental
cuts.
impact.
Have you thought about kids who are going to know how to use computers from when they're age 7? Have you thought about that they are going to be at the
Jeff,
same
I don't
level
think
with the rest
we're
of the
gonna get
world?
anywhere with this.
No, because you just read by blind
Korea,
hits.
listen,
Why can't you, let's say,
do it
let
as
us
a
see where
pilot
this program...
project.
Yeah.
Take 20 schools.
Yeah.
See how they perform.
Korea, this
How
is
they
the-
We have
do it.
got all the...
This is not Rwanda.
No. By the way,
Rwanda
what's
has-
the difference between us and Rwanda? What's the difference?
They're disciplined.
Disciplined.
Why can't we be disciplined? Why can't you come on this show and ask Kenyans be disciplined? What is easier to fix? Can't we fix our discipline instead of denying our kids computers? Is discipline coming from God so that it goes to a geographical area called Rwanda and not Kenya? Is it a weather issue? Is it climatic?
Let me tell you. You know what I would do? I would come to your home, rural area in Kiambu, and you know what I would do? I'd put a container there with 40 computers, and that's the best you can get.
So let me tell you
know?
something, Jeff. The Cabinet Secretary, Davis Chirchir for Energy, has said that he is going to ensure that every school gets electricity.
Where's that money coming from, Honorable?
From you and me. He's saying this is money for the laptops, I'm not touching that. In addition, it's buy one, get one free. Ask for a laptop, get electricity on top of it. What's wrong with that?
Come on. You know what that bill will be to wire every school in this country?
Come on,
That's
let's-
more
let's-
billions,
yes.
which we don't have.
No, where does that money go today? You know, the problem with you is that you see miracles in your lifetime, you never see it. Can't you ask yourself where this money was coming from?
My friend.
You know what, Jeff? I think we should go to the next topic because we are not going to agree on this.
Let me read one tweet. Nicholas Mutua is saying, is the laptop fiasco a failed project or a corruption fiasco?
Listen. This is what they want.
No.
This is what they want for 2017. See, laptop was a failed project. Railways was a failed project. You know what? I don't care if Jubilee government becomes a one-time government. We are going to do the right things.
Seriously?
Yes.
Let me tell you what.
We are going to do the right
Let me
things.
tell
We
you
are not
what,
going
Moses.
to give in to populism and
there's nothing wrong in
people
saying
on
I'm
Twitter
sorry.
and Facebook are going to say
Okay?
this. No, one time this country will look back and they will say, this project brought all those kids who never had used computers in their lifetime to use computers.
Oh, no, let me ask you this.
Irrespective of where they come from.
Let me ask you
from
this.
Emoro Dikil to Buruburu.
Let me
them
ask you this.
classroom first,
If
buddy.
the laptop project fails, does
We'll
that
take responsibility for that.
But does that mean the schools will not get electricity?
No, they will still get electricity. I'm telling you, you are buying one, you are getting one free. If you are getting both the laptop and the electricity, what's your problem?
But it's not. We don't have the money.
So you don't
for-
want,
we
you
don't
don't
have
want
the
the laptop.
capacity.
We have said, fine, given, granted. We are going to put electricity in every school, granted. So do that, but don't give us laptops. Simply because you've got this expensive phone, you don't want that kid in the laptop. Oh, come on, be real.
Honorable,
I tell
you're
you what.
killing me, man. You're killing me.
Let me give you my last piece of advice on the laptop project. You go set up 10 schools as pilot projects, okay? See how they do,
What
see
about
how they
if-
perform,
what about if
and then you
Kibaki-
move, you run with
my
it.
brother,
You
if
have
Kibaki in
4
2003,
years.
he had used 10 kids to go for free primary education.
No.
Why would
Let's
we
not
be-
go about
what
free
all those-
primary
No,
education.
Why?
We
Because
talk-
this is the same thing now. That
because
time,
we talked about free primary
no.
education and we
My-
left the
my
money
brother,
behind.
that time
so let's
there was
not
a-
go
there
there.
was
By the
another
way,
Ledama
by the way,
who was fighting that.
someone is asking Ledama to give me that rungu and hit you on the
You know
head
what?
with it.
Yes,
I'm going to ask
And
you.
as long as kids get laptop, get ahead.
You're willing to sacrifice?
For the kids of this country.
No, come on. Look, Honorable, let's face it. What if you delayed 5 years? A 2017
5 years of development. 5 years. If you look at the Millennium Development Goals, 5 years is not recoverable. 5 years is half a decade. 5 years is what makes the difference
Jeff, I
between
think we should
a
put this
digital
guy
age
in a
and an
classroom
analog
full of
age.
laptops.
Yeah,
and
please
let
do
him
that.
just
I'll
absorb
leave
them
I
so
would-
that he can
I would
come back to
draft-
reality.
I would draft
Seriously.
that. I would draft that because
It's not gonna
I am
work,
so
man.
passionate about this project.
It's not gonna work.
My friend, let Masais go with a laptop and a cow there. Then I'll be happy because then I'll move forward.
Okay, that's a perfect segue to our next topic, the Maasai. Ledama, the chief himself, William Olentimama, the grand old man,
Yes.
announces over the weekend that he's going to go to State House in Monday or Tuesday, and the message would be that all the Maasai were going on a mass exodus, leaving the various parties, joining the Jubilee government. You were supposed to be part of that team to State House, weren't you?
Absolutely. I'll tell you something, Jeff. The media got it all wrong. I'll tell you what happened. We were in a meeting in Mao when the Maasai said that we want to be close to the president. The Maasai did not say we want to move to TNA. The Maasai did not say we want to move to any political party. The Maasai said we want to be close to the president because we've got a lot of historical injustices, and we believe that among them land. And we believe that this president is dear. He knows about the issue that the Maasais have with land.
Can I disagree for a moment?
Yeah,
because
disagree.
Ntimama gave an interview over the weekend to one of the networks.
Ntimama gave an interview.
And
the Maasais did not give an interview, Jeff.
Oh, he doesn't speak for the Maasai now?
Ntimama speaks for himself. Ledama speaks for himself.
So why were you going with him to State House?
I'll tell you why we were going to State House. And I'll tell you the reason why we cancelled the meeting. We, the Maasai people, cancelled the meeting yesterday. Our meeting was not cancelled by anybody. We cancelled it. The reason why we were going to State House yesterday was because we were sick and tired of another corruption in the Masai Mara. You know, there's a company called CAPS, which was given a tender when we still have a case with Equity Bank with billions of shillings going away. Number two, we were sick and tired of the Mao forest being destroyed. No one is talking about it, you know? The Maasais are blaming one very senior person in this country of meddling with their own affairs. And they want to tell the president, tell your buddy to walk away, to leave our stuff away. We want to live our life well. The Maasais, the Purko majority of the Maasais are sick and tired of being left out, you know, in jobs. Narok is becoming like a shithole. Nothing is moving on in Narok. The Masai Mara is dying. Okay, we are concerned about that. Those are the issues we were going to sit down with the president and talk to the president about.
Okay, the news we got was that State House cancelled the meeting because
State
the president was at the
cancel the meeting.
Ethics and
I'll tell you
Anti-Corruption
something.
Conference.
Let me tell you, I was in that meeting. Ntimama was in that meeting. Ole Kina was in that meeting. When we looked around, we said, listen, gentlemen, let's consult first. We had 3 appointments to State House. The first appointment was the appointment that Ntimama made himself. The second appointment was an appointment made by Kamwaro, the former TLB chairperson. The third appointment was an initiative of the Cabinet Secretary of Information, Fred Matiang'i. This was the appointment. But the appointment that came first was the appointment for Ntimama.
Okay, Honorable, you're in the know, you're in the corridors of power. What were you hearing about that meeting? Were the Maasai going to initiate a mass exodus?
You know, Jeff, let's not look at TNA or URP. Let's look at Jubilee, for example. Do you know 60 or 65% of the elected leaders in Maasai land are in Jubilee?
I like that question.
Yeah?
Listen.
Yeah, because the governor of Narok, the guy who beat this guy fair and square.
Go on.
He's a Jubilee guy.
Okay.
And my good friend, Mr. Tunai. We have got MP for Emuradiki, MP for Narok West, MP for Narok East, MP for Narok North. I mean,
hold on.
Listen, these are our people. We're just talking about few remnants like Ledama and Ledama who have been left out in the cold.
Listen to me. Let me educate you on that.
Go on.
Okay? The Maasais are concerned about resolving their problems they have. One, historical injustices with the land. They believe that Uhuru Kenyatta will be able to help them solve that problem. The biggest problem they have is the issue of Kedong Ranch, which the first family are part owners of that land. So they believe that coming close to the president, not moving, you know, it will be wrong. And the reason why we stopped that meeting yesterday, Jeff, is because we wanted, number one, if we were going to discuss about the Maasai moving to any political, to be affiliated by any political party, we needed the youth there, we need the women there, we need the current member of parliament for Narok North there, who is Ole Kina. We needed to have all the Maasai clans on board before we go and do something on a boat. So we needed to consult. Ntimama called us when he was planning to go to his meeting, okay? And then we discussed it, and we thought that it is best whether we shelved that idea. We communicated to State House, and we requested that we're given some time.
Is that meeting still going to happen?
The meeting is definitely going to happen, and the meeting is going to discuss the issues which are important to solving the problems, historical injustice, and the current problems that your friend Tunai is causing in the Maasai community.
And you say that half or most of the elected leaders in Maasai land, they're all Jubilee.
Yes.
I'll explain that. Let me tell you something.
URP side
let me tell you something.
of the Jubilee.
URP side.
There is no URP and TNA. If you're dreaming of that, please just give it up.
But let's face it.
There's no European, there's no TNA. It is one government of Jubilee of European TNA. I know it is good, and it is good food for the soul to keep on thinking that it's going to be division between European TNA. It will not happen.
Let me tell
so
you,
whether
I'm not here about, I'm not here about division and all that stuff.
Mr. Kenta, the MP for Narok North is
of course, he's a TNA person.
The guy next door is URP.
Who?
All of them.
Let me tell you something, Moses. What you're not understanding is this. TNA, URP, ODM, those are just political parties.
Sure.
Let me tell you, TNA may not make the next government. The president might decide tomorrow that, you know what, I don't care about this TNA thing, I'll go look for another house.
Right.
The Maasais are not interested in coming into TNA. The Maasais are interested in coming close to the president so that their issues, let's not be narrow-minded on this thing, my friend.
Let me ask you this, Ledama. Let me ask you another fundamental question. Ole Kina himself.
Yes.
Is he leaving ODM? Is that
I'll tell you
something we should be asking?
Let me tell you something. Mr. Timama, I have a lot of respect for him. He will be the right person to answer that question. And we're going to bring him here to the bench for him to answer. What I know that Mr. Timama is doing, Honorable William Ole Kina, is bringing the Maasai closer to the president, the presidency, not a political party. If at that particular time coming closer to the presidency, there's a need to move into a political party, if it's TNA or whatever the president might say, this is what is going to take me forward. If the president is going to be able to deliver the challenges or the things that the Maasais want him to deliver, by all means, they will support the president.
Mheshimiwa, let me ask you this, since we're talking about ODM and the other parties.
Yeah.
You've been quoted severally, as they say, severally, by saying that Ababu Namwamba and Aiden Kena were Jubilee moles.
I didn't say that.
You've been quoted.
No.
True or false?
I will take you back to both Facebook and Twitter. And all I said is that in this parliament, we only have two chairmen of committees who are from CORD. One of them is Adan Kenan, who is the chairman of PIC. And the other one is Taufik Ababu Namwamba, who is the chairman of the PAC.
What did you say after that?
And I said they are doing a good job.
No, what did you say after that?
I said they are doing a good job.
Awa ni vijana wetu.
Yes, this is Wakenya.
Oh my God. This is sad.
All
right.
My brother, I met this weekend, I met my good friend Kenan. And he told me, you put me in a lot of trouble because they said you confirmed. I said, yes. I said, you are ours. Ask Kenyans. This thing of ODM, as my friend says, these are temporary issues. Nikisema vijana wetu, nasema vijana wetu sisi wa Kenya.
He's a true politician, man.
Completely. But here, I have to read this tweet. Ibrahim Roka. He says, Kuria, we from northern Kenya study under a tree. You better exchange the laptop for us with an iron sheet.
We'll give you both.
Thank you.
Don't exchange.
No, give him the
buy one, get one free. You'll get both the iron sheet.
And what else?
Because we have got a fund for the infrastructure for schools, and we should ask ourselves why that guy does not have iron sheet. You see, now that's a problem.
Let me ask him a very simple question. If you want to marry a woman, do you go and marry her?
Before you go to matters women, let me answer my friend
listen.
from
Northeastern,
yeah? Because I think it's a fundamental issue.
Yes.
This guy, first of all, we have denied him of the roof. Okay? He deserves a roof, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He deserves a roof.
Yeah.
We should give him the roof because he was supposed to have it in the first place, and give him the laptop because he deserves it today.
Where is the money coming from?
Yeah. Let's ask us. I wish that is the question we're asking. Where is the money for the roof and money for the laptop? But because he doesn't have a roof, you deny him a laptop. I find it very
Gentlemen, let's take another break. Think about that. Let's take another break. Come back, talk about these issues. And again, we haven't talked about the counties. Should we cut them down?
No way.
Before we go on break, Mohammed Waliye, he's a friend of yours. He says TNA is eating into URP turf. In 4 years' time, half Rift Valley, Northeastern and Upper Stream will be painted red. TNA will Putin URP.
Well,
think about that. Keep tweeting.
This guy lives in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. What does he know about Kenya?
You used to live there.
Now I live here. I know Kenya.
At Honorable Moses Kuria, at Ledama, at Koinange. Jeff, the hashtag is JKL. Oh my, what my? Give me that rungu, Ledama.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to use this. JKL live from the poolside of the Intercontinental. We'll be back in a moment. And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the poolside of the Intercontinental. I tell you, I should have brought my fire extinguisher today because these two, Honorable Moses Kuria and Ledama Ole Kina, they're going at it. Both in the break and out of the break. But that's good. It's fundamental. Whether it's laptops or bloated wage bill or Maasai mass exodus, we have to talk about these issues. It is important. In fact, let me read Charlene Wanjiko's tweet. She says, seriously? Some use buckets as toilet, yet they want to authorize laptops. Will those laptops be used as tissue paper? Think, Charlene Wanjiko.
Can I answer that?
It's probably from Kiambu, where you from.
Yeah, because she doesn't know that there are people with these problems. So if by you stopping this, you're only giving Wanjiko the chance, not somebody in Emuradikir.
In where?
Emuradikir, where this guy come from. You don't even know where that is. And Shireen seriously want us to only give, laptop to Kiambu?
No, you didn't understand the tweet.
No,
seriously.
No,
you did not understand it.
You didn't understand it.
The same argument might have been used in 1963. Yeah, I said, why are you building a school in Garissa? Just build it in Kiambu. The same argument will be, people are going to cite it 50 years from now. People asking, how come there are no people who are computer literate from Garissa, only from Kiambu? And Shireen will be wondering, how did this happen?
A 5-year delay will not
5 years
spoil
everything for kids. You know, Jeff, what is the age of class 1? Class 1. Kids
Yeah,
go
about
6
6,
and 7.
yeah.
Now, but add 5 years, 12 years. Where are those kids? Almost finishing primary school, and you want to stop a whole lifetime of them from going digital.
Give them a computer when they inform 1.
Oh
Yes.
my God! And then what happens?
We'll light up the school between now and
my
then.
kids go to
Jeff,
private school.
you and I got computers when we were in college.
Much later.
My kids go to private school. My kids use laptops from when they are even before
Because you
class
can
one.
afford it.
I can afford
That's
it.
because you're in the corridors of power.
Absolutely, I can afford it, and I want every kid to use the computer as my kid, whether public or private.
Jeff, we'll not
I can
agree
afford
with
it,
this.
yes. But I want every kid,
Okay.
whether in Garissa or in Mombasa,
but-
I want every kid to be like my kid.
Honorable, we don't have the money, and we're talking about a bloated wage bill.
They told Kibaki the same. You don't have money for primary education. Where would we be? Do you want this country? Do you want this country to stop until we get money? Now we have all the money. Basi yende sasa.
No, what we need to do.
Come on, guys, you are annoying me.
You need to get pissed off so that you can get it
you are
right.
annoying me. You want to stop the rules of
We
development.
don't want to stop it.
You need to
We
get
cannot
upset
develop
so
as
you
a
can
country
get
when
it
we
right.
stop. We say
Honorable.
everything stop.
Honorable.
We get all the money and we move on. We have to fix this ship when it's sailing.
Okay,
Let's talk
listen,
about the
the
wage bill.
ship is about to hit a giant
And you want to leave
glacier.
some kids from Garissa simply they're not like Shireen from Kiambu. I don't want to be part of a country that leaves some kids behind and let some countries, some regions develop and leaving others behind.
Okay.
It is not fair, it is not moral, it is not ethical.
In the meantime, Jubilee says they're all going to take pay cuts.
Yes.
But there's not one single member of parliament who's written to the speaker or the SAR to say, cut my salary. Not one.
They have said in podiums, not in
They're
parliament.
saying in funerals.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. We need,
No,
they need.
Jeff, let me tell you something before the jubilant guy talks about that. I don't care about, the president taking a 20% pay cut, okay? What I care about is the president taking charge and making sure that corruption comes to an end. The amount of money we lose in corruption, in shoddy tender deals, okay?
Yeah.
To name a few, like the laptop project,
SGR.
the railway network, the judiciary building in Narok Town, okay? If we control all that corruption, we may not even need to take a pay cut.
Or just a bit. Or just a bit. And let me tell you something else, Mheshimiwa. There are brokers and there are cartels and there is a mafia right inside those corridors of power where you hang out, and all they're doing is feeding the treasure trove, feeding the beast, making as much money as they can for 2017.
Let me tell you something, Jeff. With all humility and all honesty, corruption is a major issue in this country. Okay, we've got to fix that. Yeah, we've got to stop it. We've got to finish it once and for all. We can't keep talking about corruption, one government to another government. That's number one. Number two, wage bill is a big problem. We have to stop that. Again, these issues are not mutually exclusive. Stopping corruption and cutting the wage bill, they have got no relation with each other.
Oh,
we have got to do both. Are you telling me
You're
now we
saying
don't
they have
cut
no
the wage
relations to
bill
each other?
until we finish corruption? Yeah? Number two, the other thing also, there's two kinds of corruption. One is real corruption with a heart and a soul and flesh. The other one is assumed corruption, when people just assume and scream there's corruption.
What is assumed? Give me an example of
when you
assumed
say corridors
corruption.
of power, can we go there tomorrow and you show me those corrupt guys?
Hey,
I'll go with you.
buddy, let me
And
tell
this
you.
Take me.
guy-
You
Let me
take
tell
me.
This
you.
guy can be our
Hey,
bodyguard with a room.
Jeff, you know, listen, the president himself said it. I was
He
sitting
said
right
right
there.
here.
He said, my office
Yes.
is the most corrupt. Now what to Jipange? Those are
The president said that, by
words.
the way. He
Okay?
said that.
Let me tell
don't
you,
get away from the
there
real
are
issue.
people who take
Now,
50 million shillings a week in the president's office. You know that.
And I'm sure Honorable
okay?
knows them.
He knows that.
I'm sure he
no,
knows
that,
them.
that is
So
just
let's just be
hallucinating.
real.
That is just
Okay?
hallucinating.
No,
because
it's
if
not
someone is
hallucinating.
corrupt,
It's a fact.
take them to court.
Oh, come
Okay,
on.
let me ask you this.
See, we saw some high profile people in court this week, isn't it?
Who?
Yeah.
Finally, they got Amos Kimunya for what? 25 acres? One guy, after all these years, one guy.
Who do you
what?
want to see in
You're going to
court,
wave the
Jeff?
flag?
Who do you want to see in
The
court?
real
We
crooks.
want to see the
What
real
is his
cartel.
name, middle name, and ID number? What is he?
Come on.
And if I
Just-
give you
just
that
give it to
name,
me.
you're going to get him?
Please, I will.
If I give you the name?
Yes, and his ID number and where he works.
His
We'll
ID
go for him
number.
now, me and you. Name him. Let's not just come here and use media and use podiums. So and so is corrupt, so and so is corrupt. Corruption is a real issue in this country. It is made worse by people who make allegations they cannot substantiate.
Let me tell you, Jeff, in 2010, I filed a case in the High Court when they were pulling out, when they were removing PLO Lumumba from checking them. Do you know what happened? Do you know what the AG's office did? Do you know what they did? They made sure that my case became academic because we were fighting corruption. PLO Lumumba was fighting corruption. He was kicked out by the parliament. Okay? We still have a court order until today that gentleman, PLO, God bless him, should still be getting his money, his salary, paid as a chief of the anti-corruption.
And they
cells.
kicked him to the
But
curb.
they kicked him to the corridors.
Yeah.
So I support the president, and I believe
Good.
that Uhuru Kenyatta, he doesn't need any money. He's got
Absolutely.
more money than
Absolutely.
he can count.
Not
Okay?
that
But-
if we didn't have,
wait,
we
let
would
me
need.
finish. Let me finish.
don't try
But
to
the
confuse
problem
issues.
is this. The problem is this.
Even if we didn't have,
Okay?
we wouldn't.
There's
We
an
would still be the
issue
same guy.
of
It's about
pol- of
morals. It's not
politics.
about what you have.
There's an issue of
It's about
politics.
his moral standing.
And I'm
finish.
sure, listen, and I'm sure if you ask the president, if you tell the president so and so and so and so and so and so in your office are all corrupt, fire them all off, he'll tell you, mate, if I do that, the country will collapse. Okay?
Let me ask you this, Honorable. The 20% pay cut that the president took, very noble ideal. Was it a good idea?
It was a very good idea because it's supposed actually it kicked off this debate, in
Yes.
a good way. Because all of us need to debate this one. Jeff, 520 billion shillings going to 600,000 people in a country of 40 million.
And by the way, Rwanda has 700 civil servants.
Yes,
765,
absolutely.
I think the number
We
is.
have 600,000 in a country of 40 million people, consuming 520 billion out of 1.6 trillion of our budget.
But
let's look at those
20%
figures.
and
So it is
10% is a drop in the bucket.
absolutely, but
Drop in the ocean.
let me tell you something. This action by the president, in my understanding, was supposed to trigger this discussion, including these debates, because maybe by now we'll be discussing other things, or we'll be in America for 2 months. It was supposed to trigger something to help us to start thinking as a country whether we are going to continue spending 520 billion shillings for 600,000.
Let me ask
Whether
this
we can have
gentleman one simple
600,000 people, so for every one guy, he's feeding like 60 people.
So do we cut
Yeah.
that fat?
First of all,
Do we, hold on, let me ask you that. Do we get rid of MCAs?
No.
I think we have
No,
got
no
got
way.
Do
more
we get rid
MC
of nominated senators?
No way. Okay? Let me tell you one thing, Jeff. I'm sure you have a life insurance policy. And I'm sure you probably have a terminal one or maybe a term one or a life, You pay probably about 100,000 shillings premium. Let's just take a figure.
Yep.
Okay? But you have a policy for about 10 million shillings. If we pay our Kenyans right and we handle the issue of corruption, that is an insurance policy that I'm willing to take. Okay? So I think we can pay our people well, even if the wage bill is wide. If we fixed corruption, we'll get money to be able to do what? To take care of people and make sure that everybody has a good life.
You see,
Okay.
that's a problem. That's a problem. I want us to kill corruption. Yeah?
You can't.
Yeah?
You can't.
Yeah?
Not
You
in our
cannot.
lifetime.
Good.
But we can slow
We
it
can
down.
slow it down. Thank you very much. Finally, sense is prevailing here. So we can actually bring it down. So, but what do we do with this money that we save from corruption, Jeff?
What do you mean? We put it into development.
No, if we don't cut the wage bill, it will just
Listen,
go to more wages.
You know what?
Yeah.
Kuria, you're in this government. There's so much money outside this country. Okay?
Yeah.
In Swiss accounts.
Yeah.
Let's bring that money back. Okay? If we have a Ndungu report, let's act on it. If we have any Akiwimi report, let's act on it. let's not pretend that we are going to solve problems here.
But
okay?
You know, that's a problem with us Kenyans. We are saying we agree on Dongo report, we are agreeing on Akiwumi report, we are agreeing to stop all this corruption, but until you do that, don't cut the wage bill. That's what you're telling us.
But the wage bill, okay, look, how do you cut that fat?
Can I tell you how you do it?
Ghost workers.
Absolutely.
The people in Kibaki's administration
Thank
who
you.
are still
We are in
working.
agreement. We cut the ghost workers. We rationalize government. We streamline, we join processes and departments. And finally, we cut the salaries.
But what Ledama was saying, you have fewer people in the ministries, but getting top dollars. So
Yes.
A, they don't have to steal. B, they're working full throttle.
Is there anyone who needs a justification to steal? Because you're not getting a top dollar, now you're justified to steal. No, that's
Look,
hogwash.
I know some people who get paid
No, that's
well. Don't need
hogwash.
to-
Let me
And that's why
tell
you're
you.
saying, no, policeman is right to ask a bribe from you because he's paid poorly. What about that guy who has no job? Is he allowed to steal?
Jeff.
Forget about this guy who's paid poorly.
I don't see the logic.
Jeff, I think the issue that Kuria doesn't understand is this. Cutting the wage bill or not, if we cut the wage bill and we still have those ghost workers in City Hall,
I'm
if we
saying
still
we cut
have
them.
those ghost workers in hospitals,
ministries.
I
in the
agree,
ministries,
totally.
in
We cut them.
Narok County Council. Listen, let me tell you, in Narok, let me tell you what we have in Narok. We have Narok County Council, we have Transmara County Council, and then we have Narok County Government.
It's a waste.
Those three things.
It's a waste. I agree with you, my brother.
And it's a way
I
for those
agree.
people who are in power
All
to
we are
continue
saying is
taking the
that
money.
all these things need to go on in parallel, hand in hand. Cut the wastage, cut the ghost workers. Do you know some people called town cracks?
Yeah.
Where do they disappear to, my brother?
Let me tell you, they're now
They're
called
still there.
secretaries.
They're
You're right. They're still there.
around there.
You're right.
Doing nothing.
Okay, when is all this going to start? Because we need to save now. We need to cut this fat now. When is it going to happen?
I
If
think
the
in my opinion-
MPs can't even take the initiative, how is it going to trickle down?
You know what happened? I think leadership is very important. When the president took his 20%, the deputy president 20%, and then he ordered the Parastato chiefs to take 20%. 10%. No, 20 for
Was it
Parastato
20?
chiefs. For Parastato chiefs, 20%. I heard people, politicians, MPs saying, I will also take a pay cut of 20%.
You know, let
it's
me
all
tell you.
about leadership.
Let me tell
when
you.
the leadership comes from
But
top,
they didn't follow through. They said it
didn't.
at funerals and Harambe's, but they didn't follow
this
through.
game is starting, just starting.
You
Just
know,
hold on.
Jeff, Murkomen said
the
one
problem
thing.
Sit back, as you say.
Wait. Murkomen said one thing which I agree with him totally. I'm prepared to take a 20% cut if that money is going to go into an a fund to support the kids of Elgeyo Marakwet.
Yeah.
Okay? If they can do that,
Yeah.
you know, because you know what? To be honest with you, I don't even think that by the president just saying I'll take a 20% cut, he can really be allowed by the constitution to do that. Okay? I think we may have to come up with laws to be able to effect that, Korea.
All right. Cole Tusker says, do your guests think that corruption can be defeated by having a large government? It cannot. Government is a cancer.
So kill government, stop governments. Let's go to Somalia. Government is bad, you know.
Trim. Trim.
Good.
No, I think
Trim here.
Lean and mean.
Jeff,
But don't
I
say
think-
government is a
I
cancer.
think
It's
in Kenya-
unfortunate for someone who
No.
respect.
Cole Tusker.
Yeah, we respect him on social media. When he says government is a cancer, what's better, Somalia?
No. You
That's
didn't
no
really, you
government.
didn't really quite
That's
understand.
no government.
Exactly.
Listen, you
But
didn't
we
quite
see-
understand him. What he really meant was that a big government versus a small government.
Do we have to explain
Okay.
everything to you, Moses?
I mean, Moses, it's not
But
saying
it's
that...
not a cancer. Don't call government a cancer. That is called anarchy.
Oh,
Yeah?
Lord.
Calling
No,
government
listen,
a
I
cancer
think
is anarchy.
Jeff, I think Moses is really just thinking TNA, psychofunding and all that
And
stuff.
making money.
And making money. And he's not really understanding the real issues. Small government versus big government. If we cut our government, we make them lean. Make sure that, you know, people get the services they need. And that's what we did with devolution. We wanted to... I'm sure the framers of the Constitution were thinking about how do we take the services to the people such that we streamline our government.
Let me ask you that real quick. What about the counties? There's some people out there who say there are too many counties. 47 is too many. Cut it down to 14.
I think,
Ledama?
Jeff, I think it is too early for us to even start debating anything to do with amending the Constitution. It is too early for us to start saying that let's cut the counties into 10 regions. We'll encounter more problems. I think what we need to do is people who are willing to learn and willing to make mistakes, and really not feel like they are not achieving their goals by making mistakes is to take the 47 counties and make sure that we realign our existing resources to ensure that we don't live beyond our means. We only live with what we have.
Jeff, you know what's wrong with this country? I don't know whether 47 is good or bad. I don't know whether, I only know that it's bad to have 1,400 elected MCAs and 800 nominated. For me, it doesn't make sense. Using mathematics, literature, history, or whichever subject.
It doesn't make sense.
The problem we have in this country is that when we talk about parliament, parliamentarians don't support it. Until we talk about Senate, then they support, then senators don't support. Then we talk about governors, governors don't support, but senators and MPs support.
Yeah.
Then someone like Ledama, who has a petition coming up next week, he doesn't want us to reduce the counties because there's a vested interest.
Gentlemen, before
when
I
are we
get,
going to
before I
stop
get
this
final
self-interest?
before I get final thoughts, I have to read a tweet from this guy. I don't think he watches the show. It must be today. Robert Alai. He's watching. Robert says, instead of making noise on TV, Moses Kuria should pay his employees.
You know, this guy, Robert Alai, has got 4 cases against him. He's actually a certified lunatic. So for you to ask me that kind of a question from Robert Alai is just absolute nonsense. You know, he has 4 cases.
Okay, for what?
I don't know for Aibo. One, I don't know, the one for Kimemia, the one for Alfred Mutua, the one for what. Now you want me now to file.
All right, let's talk about
we want to
counties.
declog. Listen, Jeff, we want to actually decongest the judiciary by stopping this kind of, so I cannot even see someone like Robert
You've
Alai.
given him a lot of their time.
Yeah.
Ledama, closing thoughts.
Jeff, I think
You have a minute.
1 minute. I think, Jeff, in this country, we need to get ourselves to be very, very serious. County administration. If the president is very serious, which I believe he is, he needs to do away with the provincial administration. Do away with that, then we are now talking about a lean government. That's number one. Number two, let the media be very clear, and the public out there, that the Maasai nation, as it is, okay, is not moving to any political party. The Maasai have issues that needs to be resolved. We need to ensure that we think seriously about what is going on in the Masai Mara. Right now, the county government of Narok has given a tender to CAPS illegally. You know, I mean, the whole tender process was not followed. We are challenging that in court. If by doing that, people are just keeping money to themselves. We need to be serious. And the issue of education, I think we need to shelve this issue of laptops.
Yeah.
Okay?
Good. Moses.
Laptops are here to stay. You can take that to the bank. And, you know, as I have said before, we are going to look back at what we are doing in 2014 and say we are glad that some people had the vision. Yeah? Not to be bragged by, you know, the exigencies of the current generation, but actually think about the next one.
And that's the bottom line.
Yes.
Honorable,
Thank you.
keep doing what you do, but talk to your people. Talk to your people.
Yeah, your people as well, and Ledama's people.
Ledama, good luck in your case next
Thank
week.
you.
Thank mate.
Nice to see you guys. Hey, can I have that rungu?
If I give you this, I'll make you yours, man. You'll get yours.
At Honorable Moses Kuria, at Ledama, at Koinange Jeff, hashtag JKL. Keep tweeting. Also, let's ask this question. Is there anybody out there who still thinks the laptop project is a good thing? Tweet that. Use the hashtag JKL. Let's find out from you all out there. Don't let us make up your mind. At the end of the day, at least we're talking about it. And talking is the best option, because the minute we stop talking is the minute we start fighting. Let's not go down that route. Tomorrow night, Ledama, you'll like this. Tomorrow night, right here on the bench, Kenya's first ever NFL player, Daniel Adongo, who plays for the Indianapolis Colts, is going to be right here on this bench. Do not miss that. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, and he's representing. You thought it was just Lupita. There are others out there representing. Keep watching at JK at Jeff Koinange Live. Coming up, the news with, who is it, Kedi? Nancy Kachugira and Ben Kitili. Thanks for reminding me. The interpreter for this show, for closed captioned, Mesha Awiti. Thanks so much for watching Jeff Koinange Live. Good night. Good luck.